Tensions seem to be rising behind the scenes at The View, and Whoopi Goldberg may be at conflict with network management. ABC is reportedly starting a new marketing campaign for the show, which has fueled speculation that big changes might be coming soon.
These women are completely out of touch with reality, and you're right, ABC should...
Critics have scrutinized Whoopi's behavior and remarks made on air, with some questioning whether her recent interactions and comments have placed her in a difficult situation with the network. In a heated on-air exchange, political expert Caroline Leavitt vehemently disagreed with Whoopi's views, offering a counter-argument that quickly altered the tone of the discussion.
The president on the legality of telling government agencies that they don't have to spend money that was already appropriated by Congress.
Well, as the OMB memo states, this is certainly within the confines of the law. So White House counsel's office believes that this is within the president's power to do it, and therefore he's doing it.
What started as a typical segment on The View became one of the most intense debates the show has ever seen. At the beginning of the conversation, Whoopi passionately advocated for wokeness, saying it is essential to the progress of civilization.
Maybe have been open to her.
No, I understand. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
And the abuse continued.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Additionally, Goldberg stated that conservative criticisms of wokeness are based on fear-mongering, suggesting that those who disagree with the idea are resistant to change and uncomfortable with progress. However, Leavitt remained steadfast. Rather than just disagreeing, she analyzed Whoopi's argument, highlighting the selective application of these so-called inclusive principles and discrepancies in the portrayal of wokeness.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Here is Whoopi Goldberg saying she only got the job due to wokeness. What?
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
No, Whoopi. Corinne Jean-Pierre got the job because of wokeness. You and your old mate Joy Behar may have your jobs because of wokeness, but do not smear a competent professional woman like Caroline Leavitt with your nonsense, and don't lie about this being her first job. We know what you're doing there.
According to her, the push for diversity, fairness, and inclusion has propelled positive advancement, and those who oppose it are merely resisting social change that is inevitable.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it, and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason.
Attacking a woman for her looks or age isn't very progressive.
However, she argued that wokeness is often used to suppress or deny opposing viewpoints, particularly those held by conservatives. She challenged the notion that wokeness is always positive, citing examples where it has led to political favoritism, censorship, and division rather than true inclusivity. As the conversation heated up, the mood in the room became increasingly tense. The topic shifted from wokeness in general to how the media shapes narratives and who gets to decide what advances modern society. Viewers of all political stripes immediately filled social media with responses. While some praised Leavitt for standing her ground, others defended Whoopi's stance, arguing that hostility to wokeness is a distortion of its true goal. The debate quickly escalated as Caroline Leavitt challenged The View's narrative. According to Leavitt, wokeness has evolved beyond its original goal of fostering social change and has become a tool to suppress different opinions rather than encouraging diversity.
500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
She pointed out that by imposing ideological uniformity and penalizing anyone who dared to question its principles, wokeness had actually made people more divided rather than united. Leavitt provided examples of individuals in the media, corporate, America, and educational institutions who had faced backlash for opposing wokeness, sometimes losing their jobs as a result of their opinions not aligning with the dominant narrative. She also emphasized the hypocrisy of The View, particularly Whoopi Goldberg, who has a history of opposing conservative beliefs while often professing to support free speech. Following instances of conservative women being interrupted, ridiculed, or publicly mistreated on The View, Leavitt questioned whether the show truly represented diversity of thought or merely diversity within a certain ideological framework. Then she took another step forward. Rather than promoting actual inclusivity, Leavitt critiqued the use of wokeness to justify restrictions and discrimination. Whoopi, clearly upset, defended her position by stating that wokeness is about equality, justice, and fairness. She insisted that conservatives were misrepresenting the movement by depicting it as repressive when, in reality, its objective was to make up for past wrongs and bring balance to the system. But Leavitt did not let that argument stand unchallenged. How is it consistent with the concept of inclusiveness to criticize conservative women for their beliefs? She asked Whoopi. She argued, why are conservative women so often the targets of mockery and contempt if being woke truly means respecting all points of view? She went on to highlight an apparent double standard, where progressive women were immediately praised as role models while conservative women's credentials were questioned and their voices silenced. Leavitt's sharp critique put the panel on the defensive and forced them to acknowledge the inconsistencies in their stance. The discussion quickly evolved, exposing a deeper conversation about media bias, selective advocacy, and ideological gatekeeping. Outside of the studio, the interaction went viral, sparking widespread debate over whether wokeness is truly inclusive, or merely a means of ideological control. Her comments immediately ignited an online discussion, with some questioning whether her words were intentional or simply a moment of confusion. Others pointed out that President Joe Biden has faced criticism for his public remarks, leading some viewers to question the validity of Whoopi's accusations. Given The View's inconsistent ratings, industry insiders have speculated that ABC is under internal pressure to reevaluate its programming. The show's viability has been questioned, as the network has historically supported hosts who are bold and outspoken, but the line between controversy and engaging discussion has become increasingly blurred. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr has reportedly revived multiple charges against major networks, including ABC, NBC, and CBS. And his warnings? They are not merely threats. If these networks are found to be violating broadcasting laws, Carr warns, they could lose their affiliations with local stations nationwide. This could be a significant problem for networks like ABC, which is owned by Disney. In a letter to Disney CEO Bob Iger, Carr even raised official concerns about the network's journalistic ethics and highlighted the growing number of complaints about its news coverage. ABC is quietly introducing a major programming shift amid all of this. The View will soon be available on weekends. The network recently unveiled a new version of the show called The Weekend View, which will air exclusively on ABC News Live. The marketing campaign claims that ABC News Live represents the weekend viewpoint. However, there is one notable absence: Whoopi Goldberg. What is the reasoning behind this decision? Could it be that ABC considers Whoopi too controversial for this new streaming endeavor? Or is something more significant happening, one that aims to shift the focus away from divisive political discussions and toward a more entertainment-oriented approach? Since ABC's streaming numbers have not been strong, industry insiders speculate that this adjustment is an attempt to reinvigorate the brand by making the show more accessible to a digital audience. Unlike traditional network TV, which thrives on audience engagement and authenticity, streaming is a medium where shows succeed through open discussion rather than network-controlled narratives. There is growing speculation about Whoopi Goldberg's future plans. as it appears that her role on The View is shifting. Some industry insiders believe she might have a larger online following than on traditional network television, a shift ABC might not have fully acknowledged or accounted for. But is there another reason her behavior appears to have changed on the show? Rumors suggest that Whoopi is waiting for a better offer while negotiating a new deal. Interestingly, she seems to have toned down her previously vocal criticisms of political leaders in recent weeks. Observers note that she now relies more on co-host Sunny Hostin to lead political discussions, particularly regarding government intervention and high-profile tech figures like Elon Musk. Recently, Hostin steered the discussion to Musk's status as a special government employee, claiming that this designation grants him top security clearance and exempts him from the full transparency obligations of federal employees. This triggered a broader discussion about executive power, with claims that former President Donald Trump deliberately sought to expand executive authority beyond traditional limits. As the discussion about government structure unfolded, Hostin highlighted the three equal branches of government: the legislative branch, which consists of the House and Senate and controls the budget; the executive branch, which enforces the law and is led by the president; and the judicial branch, which interprets the law through the Supreme Court. Hostin argued that Trump had strengthened his influence over the Supreme Court through judicial appointments, raising concerns about potential power imbalances. Ultimately, Caroline Leavitt's appearance on The View not only challenged Whoopi Goldberg's defense of wokeness, but also ignited a broader national conversation about political discourse in America. Are we truly fostering open dialogue, or are dissenting views being suppressed for ideological reasons? As more voices challenge dominant narratives, the battle for ideological balance in the media is far from over. Where do you think this conversation will go from here? Was Leavitt successful in exposing contradictions in The View's stance on wokeness? Or did Whoopi Goldberg make a valid argument? So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.